The Black Market. Mrs. Tortoise and her children went to visit Mr. Tortoise at the gate where he guarded the precious stones. They were very upset, tired and thirsty because they had traveled a very long way to get water but found it all finished. They were too slow, and this was not the first time. Faster animals did not think about reserving water for them. They could not afford to buy water. If only there was another option. Tortoise decided to go and ask Mbudzi for a favor since they worked together. Maybe Mbudzi could give them water on credit from his msika. Rather than seeing his family suffer, Tortoise was willing to do anything to get water. Mbudzi said he could help Tortoise, but on one condition. I have to import water and I need villagers to pay using something valuable like the precious stones. Maybe you can help convince the elders so the villagers can use the precious stones to buy water. Tortoise was very upset at this idea. How could Mbudzi think like that? But also, he needed water. Tortoise said he could not do it, and Mbudzi refused to help him. Tortoise walked slowly back home, sad and with no water. He kept thinking about what to do. Suddenly, he saw a bucket full of water in the road and wondered who had put it there. Maybe it belonged to someone else. Tortoise looked and looked, but there was no one. Tsuro came from behind a bush disguised as an Arab trader and told Tortoise that the bucket full of water and many more buckets full of water could be his if he followed Tsuro's plan. Tortoise told Tsuro that he did not want to speak to a thief and continued with his journey. Tsuro shouted after him, "Think of your hungry and thirsty family. They need the water. And if you agree to my plan, they will never have to walk to faraway places to fetch water again." At this, Tortoise stopped and asked Tsuro, "What is your plan?" Tsuro said Tortoise could create something called a black market. A black or illicit market is an illegal traffic or trade in officially controlled or scarce commodities. Tortoise would do this by taking the precious stones without asking for permission and secretly selling them to the villagers in exchange for their valuables so they could buy water. He would be the only one with access to the stones, and it would be easy since he was a guard. Tortoise got very upset, but he thought long and hard about how his own family needed the water and how the village would refuse to just give everyone the stones. There was no other solution. A black market was coming to the village. But Tortoise was afraid that if the animals found him selling precious stones when they had trusted him to guard them, they would punish him. Craftily, Tsuro advised him to look for workers to sell the precious stones every day and report back to him. What if the villagers found him with large deposits of precious stones or other animals' valuables? How would he explain it? Tsuro assured him not to worry. Mbeva had underground tunnels which they could use to transport the precious stones and valuables out of the village without anyone noticing. This service would come at a price, of course, but it was necessary. Tortoise thought this was a solid idea. Plus, the villagers would never discover that it was him stealing, so he started taking the precious stones, a few at a time, and giving them to his workers, Gava and Gudo, to sell to the villagers. Soon, word spread around that Gava and Gudo were selling precious stones in exchange for valuables. Buying the stones scared some animals, but others bought the stones and used those stones to buy water from Mbudzi. Mbudzi never asked the animals where they were getting the stones. He was just happy that his business of selling water continued to flourish. Tortoise was now happy too. Mrs. Tortoise and the children no longer had to go to faraway places to look for water. They could now have bottled water delivered to their doorstep.